Right. Well, ladies and gents, let's move on to our next topic, which was briefly mentioned, and we do have some updates apparently from Paulie. But this is what we sort of covered earlier, which is Constantine 2, starring Keanu Reeves, has reportedly been scrapped. Allegedly, that's not true now. Is that right, Paulie?
Yeah, and this is an article. There's a couple from Entertainment Weekly and then Bloody Disgusting that are like an hour old, if that.
So this is one which you sent, which is Entertainment Weekly. Says
Yeah.
Constantine sequel with Keanu Reeves still hell blazing ahead amid new DC slate. So we'll get to this in a minute, just for sort of posterity's sake. We'll cover that in a minute. But let's read this one first, because this is what kickstarted everything. KC Walsh, a scooper, claimed that Constantine 2 has now been cancelled, bluntly telling one of his followers Constantine 2 is not happening. That was a movie they greenlit in desperation because they weren't sure the direction of DC and needed to have something post 2023. So that was what was stated. But now we get this, which is
I trust DW, and that's a later report too.
yeah,
Because
I mean, I
Andre
would,
got heard similar things, is that it was still on. He's not sure where they were hearing this from. Yeah.
yeah, I would. Well, apparently, this is a spokesperson for Warner Brothers has confirmed to EW that
Correct.
Constantine 2 is not scrapped. Internet chatter going around social media suggested it had. Reeves will be reprising his role of John Constantine, the magic-wielding occult expert, made popular by Alan Moore. And then obviously in the Hellblazer comics, the studio announced last year that Reeves will be back for another go with filmmaker Francis Lawrence, who directed the first one, and Akiva Goldsman, who penned the first one as well, back as well. And hopefully, is it Peter Stormare? Stormare? The guy who played Lucifer. Would be good to have him. I think it is Peter Stormare. I could be wrong there. But no, the guy who played Lucifer, hopefully he's back, because he's fucking epic. Absolutely brilliant actor. Needs to be in more things. Super, super good actor. Look, what do we think about this? I mean, I when I read this news, I was like, look, I can see that there's some legitimacy behind it, just because there was no announcement of it. You know, they're shaking things up. You know, J.J. Abrams has had everything taken from him at Warner Brothers now as well. Could this be part of? I mean, obviously, we know that there's going to be a Swamp Thing. Could this be an element of James Gunn trying to retool the horror thing into, you know, something else as well? There could have been an air of legitimacy behind it. I can see why. I also said in my initial report earlier that this is the most stupid thing that they could possibly do if it is true, because you waste goodwill from everyone. You know, Keanu, it couldn't be a hotter topic right now, a hotter actor in Hollywood. And having him as a name coming back into DC is a big draw when they have nothing to draw anyone in at this point in time. So if they did announce this would be awful. I mean, thoughts, Paulie?
Absolutely, 100%. He's up there with Tom Cruise level as far as just being beloved, probably even more so, and being just with the John Wick and the Matrix, the first Constantine. I mean, he can tend to give some wooden performances in like kind of regular dramas, but this is right up his alley. Again, I would think, I don't know why this person let it out there, but a couple things, like I said before, Warner Brothers is probably just trying to work around Reeves' schedule, because he's probably just super busy.
What has
And
What has he got coming out?
I'm saying probably, right? I don't know if he's doing ballerina. I don't know what, but also too, I don't know if he is just being selective as well, because that happens too. He's getting, he's just going about life. He does his own thing, kind of like Cruise. He's not going to just say yes to everything. Let's do it. The price is right. He's definitely a man who's got some principles. The other, what was the other thing that I was going to say about Reeves? Dang it.
So he does have upcoming, obviously John Wick 4, that's releasing soon. John Wick Chapter 5 pre-production, Berserker, so that is something which is happening. Outcome, haven't even heard of that. No idea what that is. He's going back to do some more voice work of Johnny Silverhand for Cyberpunk. And Ballerina,
Oh.
there was a recent report that he is going to be in that, so that does make sense. He does have stuff coming up, so you.
Well, that's confirmed, and they already filmed it. That just finished with the Anna de Armas.
Oh, is that finished? I didn't think that was finished. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And then, but you got to understand too that all those movies, right? That's 3 action flicks. That takes a lot out of a person.
He's like 60,
he's not getting
now.
He's at least mid-50s at this point.
Well, and something I learned from when I was tight with the
58.
whole Bill and Ted thing is
wow.
that, yeah, Keanu's schedule is like difficult. So that I can see being true is that, and looking at what you just showed there in that lineup, Mr. H, is like he's got a lot of stuff lined up that they're probably trying to find a way to squeak this in his schedule. And I agree with Paulie. Keanu is one of those things that, yeah, he's had his down times in Hollywood, but what he has had is longevity. He can do a few bombs in a row and come back with a John Wick or a Speed or a whatever you want to toss it, a Matrix or whatever, you know, every once in a while. And that's the thing is he's not consistent at the box office, but what he is he's got longevity. People like him. I mean, he's not one of those actors who invokes a lot of people's ire. He's smart about not getting out there on any of the social medias. He's not a controversial person. He's not dating a bunch of supermodels and stuff left and right to get himself in any kind of trouble. Sure, there's things here and there that pop up, but 9 times out of 10, if you follow the rabbit hole down, you can find out that 9 times out of 10, to go back to a word we used earlier, it's a bunch of fugazi. Because like Keanu seems to be like one of the most cleanest guys in Hollywood.
Good guy.
Like he just seems like he avoids a lot of the bullshit. And that's a lot of the stories I've heard personally about him too, is he's just a very down to earth former surfer who just likes to play pretend once in a while, like John Wick and stuff like that. And he doesn't have to do the superhero type movies. He's got more than enough money. He's not somebody who's spent all his money like some of these other people have. Yeah. He could quit doing movies. I've been told by more than one person that he could quit doing movies tomorrow and not have to worry about nothing. He could go retire and just do whatever.
Didn't he give a bunch of his money away for the Matrix and bought all the stunt people? But bought basically all the crew, like Harley Davidsons or something like that. Like,
and he bought, I think, wasn't it Hummers or something like that for him on the second film or something like that, or whatever it was that they used in the one scene. But like, yeah, like he's never been one of these guys who's been hung up on, I gotta have this franchise or gotta have that franchise. My point is when he did Bill and Ted, he did that out of pure love for the character and he wanted to get it done and he made sure he got it done and he did it for next to nothing. So like hearing he wants to do films. Yeah, exactly, Paulie. The reason that I'm saying this is because him wanting to do Constantine is the whole reason this movie's happening. Period.
Yeah.
No other reason. None. And if anything, the great thing about it is it killed that other stupid project that J.J. Abrams was going to do. Because J.J.'s stuck to this because of his contract with Warner Brothers and the character. So I'm fine with that. And I don't see why this could or couldn't happen. And it won't impede in any way on anything that James Gunn is coming up with. This could be shot and out in the next year as long as they can work it in his schedule. That's where I can see the problem is coming in, is Keanu working it in his next 2 or 3 year schedule.
Well, I mean, with this, with that as well, like that's, I mean, you look at like an hour and a half, hour 40 movie. It's not going to be super long. It's going to be one of those films that's relatively short. I can't.
A lot of green screen work, probably.
But it's not gonna, well, you say that. I mean, the first one didn't have a lot of green screen.
Not a ton, but that came out back in the early 2000s to where they were still doing a lot of practical stuff yet. True.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think this is good. I think that could be a relatively quick shoot as well, in fairness. I don't think that's a super expensive, long running shoot. I think you could slot that in quite easily, in fairness, around certain bits and pieces that he's doing. But yeah, I mean, it's good. I'm glad it's not cancelled. Put it that way. You know, I think this is one of the.
It'd be stupid for him to do it. Yeah.
Oh, it'd be so absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. It'd be one of the worst.
I don't think it was ever in jeopardy.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I just think that's so silly.
I think it all boils down to Keanu, right?
Well, he's the one that went in every single year apparently to Warner Brothers asking them to make a sequel. That came out recently.
Wow. That's pretty
Every
cool.
single year he went in there and asked.
It makes me wonder if the Matrix deal was partially like, I'll do it, but I get to do Constantine too.
You know what? That might be. You never know. You never know. But that was a co-production. So
I'm not kidding, but like, yeah, no. I mean, he does like the Matrix too. So like that, I'm not saying he would use that to.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.